March is here, and if you're feeling overwhelmed by all of the advice on what to plant right now or what to sow this month, you're not alone. Whether it's on television, in magazines or online, I spent years handpicking and recommending just great plants that are actually going to thrive for people so that you don't have to waste time on trial and error. In this video, I'm going to cut through all the noise and share just 5 superb plants to sow or grow in March. The easiest and most rewarding crops and flowers to give you flavour, colour and boost biodiversity in your garden. If you want to get growing without the guesswork, look no further. Hey everyone, how's it going and welcome back. I can't wait to start into this month's plants, but just a quick reminder to bear in mind your own local growing conditions as they may well be different to mine. And don't worry about writing down all these plant suggestions, unless you want to, of course. You'll find my plant list over at my website, niallgardens.com. Right, let's get stuck in. Let's kick off this month with an absolute powerhouse for the veg garden, Cavolo Nero kale. I love recommending a multifunctional plant because it gives you so much more than a plant that just does one thing. And kale, Cavolo Nero, also known as Tuscan kale or black kale, is one of the most rewarding greens that you can grow. It has these lovely long, crinkled, deep green leaves. They look awesome. They almost have a blackish hue, giving the plant this really striking architectural look in the garden. It's more than just a vegetable, it's an ornamental too. It adds height and texture wherever you plant it. But one of the best things about Cavolo Nero is quite how easy it is to grow from seed. Sown in spring or summer, it's going to germinate really quickly and it thrives with so little fuss. These are mine that I only started a couple of weeks ago and they're already ready to get potted on and pricked out. It's incredibly tough. It shrugs off cold, frost, even snow, making it a brilliant crop for autumn and winter harvests, when other greens, well, they're going to be long gone. So if you leave it to grow into the cooler months, the leaves actually develop a sweeter flavour after a frost. It's packed with vitamins and minerals, making it a fantastic addition to soups, stir-fries, salads, you name it. Rather than just pulling up the whole plant though, strip the lower leaves off as you want them and keep the plant growing. That's going to give you longer harvests, ensuring a continuous supply of those lovely nutritious greens. And a quick tip, net it from the start if you have pigeons in your area. They love brassicas and they're just going to strip the plants bare if you're not careful. So if you're looking for a vegetable that is as good looking as it is useful, Cavolo Nero is the perfect choice. It brings structure and beauty to the garden while producing lovely, fresh, homegrown greens through the summer, into the autumn and even the coldest months of the winter. It is a must-grow crop. Here's one of my most powerful flowers to grow, and yet I'm not sure that it actually gets that much attention. It is Cerinthe Major Purpurescens. If you want a gorgeous, pollinator-friendly flower that is super easy to grow, Cerinthe is the one for you. Now, this might be known to you as honeywort, and it's a striking plant that has this amazing silvery blue foliage and arching stems. But the real magic happens when you see its stunning purple-blue bracts around its flowers, flowers the bees just cannot resist. It's really high yielding in terms of nectar, so it's perfect for making your own wildlife-friendly garden. Now, one of the best things about Cerinthe is how easy it is to grow from seed. Sow them in autumn or in spring for a nice summer display. These large bean-like seeds germinate really quickly, and once they're established, the plants thrive with minimal care. They're surprisingly tough, standing up well to wind, poor soil. You can sow them direct into the soil or start them in pots under cover to give them a head start, which is what I do. A bonus, once you plant Cerinthe, it's often going to self-seed nice and freely for you, meaning that you get new plants year after year without lifting a finger, but not that much that it becomes a menace. So if you haven't grown Cerinthe Major before, trust me, you're missing out. It's beautiful, low maintenance, and a magnet for bees. So get some seeds of your own sown this month. You're not going to regret it. If you want a proper showstopper for late summer, now's the time to get growing these little things. These are heleniums, and heleniums for me are a must-have for any garden because they burst into bloom just as summer reaches its peak. They've got daisy-like flowers that come in lovely rich fiery shades of red, orange, golden yellow, and they have these prominent flat-topped central cones that deepen in colour as they mature. Their lovely warm tones give an instant glow to borders, and it just makes them perfect for bringing some late season vibrancy when maybe some other flowers are starting to fade. They're upright and branching, so it means that they give a nice little bit of height, but not too much, and a bit of movement to your garden. But more than being just beautiful, heleniums are a proper haven for pollinators. Their flowers are really nectar rich, and they do really pull in bees, butterflies, every other beneficial insect you can think about so that it keeps your garden buzzing and healthy. You can grow heleniums from seed, but it does take a little bit of patience and it is rewarding. Or you can buy young plants in pots for a quicker start. But one of the best ways to grow them is as bare root plants like this. I know this doesn't look like much, but they're available in winter and early spring. And bare root heleniums, if you pot this on, establish really quickly, and they're a much more affordable way to fill your garden with these stunning perennials. I love echinacea because of the look of the flowers with that central cone, but in my experience here in Ireland, heleniums are just that bit tougher in my garden, and I find them just that bit more reliable. So give them a try if you haven't already, and enjoy that pop of hot late summer colour in your garden. I am delighted to be teaming up again with this great company, J.Parker's, to give you a superb discount code. And if you think the J.Parker's are just a bulb company, think again. They also have a fabulous selection of bare root, loose root plants, dahlia tubers, potted plants, and even more, just like the heleniums that I've just recommended. And here are 3 reasons why I think bare root is a great option for right now. Reason 1, when you buy potted plants, when you think about it, they're generally that little bit more expensive because you're paying for all of the compost, the pot, the other materials, the growing, the transport, as well as the plant itself. But since bare root or loose root plants are just that, they're free of compost and everything else, then they're better value, and that means you can either save money or you can buy more plants for the same amount of money. Reason 2, if you go to the garden centre, there certainly is choice, but if you're looking for a really wide choice of specific varieties, bare root is the way to go. J.Parker's have a huge range of each plant, giving you loads more options, and now is the best time to get these planted. Reason 3, we're all thinking more and more about our environmental footprint, right? Well, with less materials and less packaging, which would end up otherwise going to waste, and the reduced weight of bare root plants, it makes bare root plants way more efficient to transport, and they genuinely are a more environmentally conscious, sound choice. Head across to jparkers.com via the link in my description down below and enter my discount code Niall15 for 15% off your next order. So go on, treat yourself. Now, let's talk about one of the easiest and most productive root crops that you can grow. They're these things, sunchokes, or also known as Jerusalem artichokes. They are incredibly rewarding to grow as a crop. The edible part is this knobbly, nutty flavoured tuber that develops underground. They're perfect for roasting, mashing, or adding to soups. They're packed with fibre and nutrients, and they're actually a really good alternative to potatoes. And unlike spuds, they don't need lifting until you're ready to eat them. They actually store really well in the soil. Now, above ground, sunchokes are actually quite a cool addition to the garden. I really like them. Remember that I said I love a multi-purpose plant? Well, sunchokes are just that. They grow tall, and I mean really tall, like reaching about at least 2 meters high. They produce masses of these lovely bright yellow daisy-like flowers in the late summer and autumn. These blooms don't just look fantastic, they're also a really valuable late season food source for pollinators, attracting bees and butterflies. To me, they remind me like blocks of sunflowers. The best way to grow them is from these tubers, and March is the perfect time to get them in the ground. Just plant them about 10 to 15 centimetres deep and place them a good 30 to 40 centimetres apart, and they're going to take off with almost no effort. They'll grow all summer, and by autumn you're going to have a massive harvest of really nice edible tubers that store well through winter. A quick warning now, they do spread easily, so it's best to plant them somewhere permanent or in a contained raised bed. That said, they are brilliant if you want a nice carefree crop that thrives year after year. I grow mine in huge pots, and really I do that because it's more decorative. They do tend to produce much smaller tubers. But if you're after an ultra-productive, no-fuss root crop, sunchokes should definitely be on your March planting list. And finally, let's talk about one of the most useful herbs that you can grow right now, parsley. It's been a mainstay of vegetable gardens forever, with good reason. But in terms of specific varieties, you cannot beat this giant of Napoli. It's one of the best that you can grow. It produces really lush, deep green leaves with incredible flavour. And unlike standard parsley, this Italian giant has broader, more abundant foliage, making it a fantastic choice for those who love herbs. The large, flat leaves are packed with rich, aromatic taste, perfect for everything from soups to salads and garnishes. Now, I've got my parsley seeds sown right here. Starting it from seed can take a little bit of patience, as it's actually quite slow to germinate. That's because each seed has its own germination inhibitor in its outer coating. So, soaking the seeds overnight before you sow them can speed things up by dissolving much of that away. It's what I do every time. But once it gets going, Giant of Napoli is vigorous. It thrives in garden beds, raised planters, containers, pots, whatever you want, happily growing in full sun or partial shade. Unlike some of its maybe more delicate friends as herbs, this is hardy. It handles cold weather far better than most. It'll even keep producing leaves through the winter that you can use. But I want to make one extra suggestion from my own experience. While parsley is often grown as a cut and come again crop, letting it bolt and flower in its second year has real benefits. You might not know this, but parsley is a biennial and it produces big, tall, airy flower heads that are great food for pollinators, especially hoverflies and bees. So it's great, again, if you're trying to build a wildlife-friendly garden. Once the flowers fade, you can collect the seeds to use them again. So if you're looking for an easy-to-grow, high-performance herb, Giant of Napoli, or Giant of Italy, you might find it known as, is the perfect choice. Before you dive into sowing and growing in March, there are some really common mistakes that could undermine all of your hard work, and they're really easy slip-ups that can catch out even experienced gardeners. So don't let them set you back. Click on this video right here and I'll walk you through some of the biggest gardening mistakes and how to avoid them. And until next time, see you later.